So I haven't filmed up here for a while. I have done a bit of work and I held off on the filming just because there was lots of bitty things to do. You didn't really need to see what I was doing, and I've got on with the job a bit quicker. There was bits of plasterboarding to finish, tiny difficult cuts. And the other thing I've been doing is boarding behind this cupboard, which I'll show you now. So down behind my cupboards here, I've just been trying to have a sort out, get rid of a lot of mess. You can see behind me here, I've still got all my old, there's the wire mesh that I was putting the insulation in the floor with. I got old lead work from when I was doing the outside of the roof. And it really is time to get on now, tidy this up so I can start boarding it up and get rid of a lot of mess from inside the loft. You can see around here, you know, there's stuff everywhere. I've got offcuts of plasterboard, all needs putting outside. It's a horrible job, but I've got to do it. So at the moment, what I've just done is just cut down some plyboard here, and I'm just plying behind these stud timbers, and that way I can push the insulation board, which is over there cut up, and I cut that, gosh, 18 months ago, something like that. It's been sat there a long time, so they're all going to fit straight in now, because I've done all the difficult work, the measuring and the cutting. By having this plyboard behind here, it can't fall through, seals it up nicely. Then I'm going over it with a 30mm insulation board. You can see there, I've got the insulation on the outside, so even though we've insulated down the rafters under there, and you remember that from, I don't know, it was one of the earlier videos on the loft conversion series, I'm still going to go behind here, and that way it just gives you a bit, I suppose it kills the sound a bit from the outside, and it makes everything warmer really. So we're going to put insulation between these, insulation over, and that way as well it levels it all up. If you look over there down on the end, we had to insulate the outside there because that bit down on the end is actually the external dormer. When you come inside you don't really, but it just means we get a nice straight wall as well by keeping that insulation consistent down there. Plasterboard over the top, it'll be lovely and warm, hopefully lovely and sound dead from outside, nice and quiet, and I got plenty of insulation board here anyway, so I may as well use it up. So a quick update on what's been going on here. Over on the end there, I've never actually had insulation in there for the whole time I've been doing this, and I plasterboarded down and I left that because it's where all the old rafters actually were sticking out, so they're all cut back, and then you've got the outside, or the front cheek of the dormer there on the side of the house. So anyway, I've just filled that with 2 layers of insulation, so the rectus cell you see over the top there is kind of the overboarding effectively. The only reason you can see the timber there is because they're the old rafters. I left them sticking out because where I've cut them off is so that I can screw the plasterboard up to it, and you can see I've put a piece of batten in there, and I've just had to put a few temporary timbers, well they're not temporary, they're screwed into the side so that I can screw the plasterboard up and hold it tight. And it's what I've got to do there is where the wall's coming down vertically, this wall down there is actually out quite a bit. It also bows around because it's an old wall, it's not very good, it bends all over the place. So what I'm actually going to do is, if you imagine it from a side profile, the wall's coming down, and I'm just, rather than have a ledge, because the ledge is just going to catch dust and it's not big enough to be a sill or anything like that, so I'm just putting a piece of plasterboard, we're tapering it out, then join it in, and what I'll do is just blend it in when I plaster it, so you just get a gentle slope like that, and hopefully then you'll have no dust collecting on it. It'll just be a nice gradient down into the next wall. If you look on this side here, I've actually cut this piece out, but it's still loose at the moment, and in a minute we're going to dot and dab that to the wall, because across here, I'll show you now, I've got my stud timber, and I've got a piece of timber under there to screw the top of the plasterboard into to make sure that it lines up exactly with this wall. But below there, the wall is sunk back slightly and it bows all over the place again. So I thought to level this wall out, get it straight with the stairs, I'm going to dot and dab all the bottom, and that way we can screw it to the top, push it in with a level at the bottom, and hopefully level this whole wall out so it'll give the impression then of one nice long straight wall all the way down to the stairs. And I can also then even it up as well with the timber going down the stairs, rather than the stairs looking like it's totally out of kilter with the wall, because the old wall was all over the place. The other thing you may have noticed is that overboarding down there. I'm not going to win any prizes for tidiness down there. I've been trying to use up all the old offcuts of my insulation, so I've sort of wedged those in. I've got a few little cubes there under the rafters, and I've just gone round it with a load of expanding foam just to fill all the gaps. So you know, at the end of the day it does the same job, and we're coming to the end of all this now, so I don't want to be going out buying more material. So if I can use what I got here, then all the better, keep the cost down. And more importantly, in some respects at the moment we're in this lockdown, so I can't really go out and materials are scarce at the moment anyway. So now I'm going to dot and dab this plasterboard piece that I cut out earlier. You can see I've removed it now here. There's the timber I was talking about that I'm going to screw it to right at the top, and then we're going to put the plasterboard adhesive down here, stick it to the wall, level it up with a level, and get it in place. So I'll stick out on the time lapse. If you do want to see how to dot and dab plasterboard to a wall, I'll be doing a separate video on how to do that, and the link to that video will pop up on the screen now. And to do this, I've just got my bag of adhesive. I think I'm only going to need about 1/4 of a bag to do this, to be honest with you. Got 2 buckets of water, one to clean the tools, one to mix the adhesive. I've got my old drill, which has seen better days, if I'm honest. You've got the mixer there, again, seen better days, got a bit of tape on that. Just my trowel there to stick it on the wall. I've got a brush there as well to give the drill a clean once I finish mixing. So let's get on with it. So there we go, that's that wall done. You can see that's nice and plumb now. I've kept that nice even space on the timber all the way down the stairs, which was the look I was after. So you can remember now that wall was all over the place before at the bottom. And now by just dropping this stud timber wall straight into that one and using the dot and dab at the bottom, it's really lined it up nicely, so I'm happy with that. There we go, right to the top. So I've done a full day's work today, finishing off bits and pieces. I haven't filmed any of it. I've got a baby due in 2 months. I've got a 3.5-year-old daughter downstairs, doesn't leave me alone, and I've just got to get on with this. I'm running out of time. So I thought we'd have a quick look around the place and see what we've done now. So, like I say, we're pretty much finished with the plasterboarding, so I've got to have a good clean out basically next, get rid of all this crap, all the tools I don't need, and then we can prep it up for plastering. So you can see in the corner there, I've still got my gap there. I'm going to put a door over that, that's for the electrics. We've then got the 2 openings here. I plasterboarded right the way around that. Apologies for the dust on the lens there, let's give that a quick clean, see how we get on. Still not great. Basically, if you look there, we've done exactly the same. So all my purling and that was all out really, none of it's level. So it's what I've had to do is, as I've gone along, I've used the spirit level across there just to give me the, you know, so the top of the doors are going to be level there, so it all looks nice and neat. But if you look underneath, the purling's at slightly different levels, but it's hidden away anyway. I'm not too worried about inside the cupboard. As I've been going along, I've got to remember what sockets I've been putting in and what not. So by here, I'm likely to have a desk, so I thought let's get 2 sockets there, 2 up there. Here's my windowsill void. It's a bit sunny there, a bit cleary, so I'll be careful not to get in that. You can see I've insulated in there with all the foil-backed insulation, the PIR board. But what I've also going to do is put all my insulation that I've been using in the stud partitions, and I'm going to wedge that in there. That's the loose eco wool insulation. Fill that right up, so any gaps I've had I've just filled right up with that stuff, and the stud work, everything, because why not? I've got loads of rolls here, use it all up, make everything nice and insulated and warm. I'm going to wedge some down the gaps like down there as well, but all this is nice and level now, so I can put a nice piece of timber across there. I might do a bit of stud work to strengthen it up, piece of timber right the way across, maybe some sort of floorboard or something like that, and then I can put my final timber over the top for the windowsill then, so I can just screw that down nicely. Do you know what, I've just noticed I haven't done around the windows. See, this is exactly as it goes, isn't it? But there we are. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Same down there, socket nicely lined up at the right height. I'm going to have a switch here going horizontally that way, so it's going to be turned on its side if you like. That's going to be a 3 dimmer switch. Got the one there for the landing. Yeah, so same on this side, you know, I've levelled it off. I'll fit doors, but I'm not worried about the doors for now. We can do all that at the end when I frame it and everything. I can even do that once the carpet's in, to be honest, because I've really got to get this sorted now. You notice the stairs still isn't done. I'm going to plaster this, I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to put the rail in. That way I can get access to the wall and paint it however I want, you know, and then stain the stairs after probably if I get a chance. And then the fiddly bits are like down here. I grind this in with a multi-tool. Slight lip there. So what I'm going to do is taper this wall back slightly. You can see where I've done the plasterboard, and I can plaster that in. I'll put a bit of bonding plaster in there, blend it in, and then slope back up that way. And then here I had a bit of a gap, so what I did was use some dot and dab adhesive, or plasterboard adhesive, and I've stuck a piece of plasterboard in there. And then again I've set that, you can't really see it there, but it's about 1 millimetre or 2 back from this wall. So again, where you've got that taper going out, I can just blend it all in with the plaster and hide all that. Chimney breast I've left for now. Basically I've run out of plasterboard, and we're in the lockdown at the moment with this coronavirus pandemic, so you can't get hold of plasterboard, and to be honest with you, I can plaster the rest of the loft and do this afterwards. I'm going to have a word with building control about that. I'd like to leave it brick, but it's a bit scruffy, so I'll probably opt for rendering if I can. It's whether I have to insulate it. I'm going to see, because that chimney always stays warm, and to be honest, I've got a wood burner downstairs, and when that's on, I got an open fire in the other room, so one goes up this chimney, the wood burner up the other. When that's on in the winter, it'll warm this room up, so I'm a bit reluctant to cover that up too much. A nice lime render would be nice on there, so I can smooth it all out, make it neat, but I'd still like to have the shape of the chimney. Otherwise I'm probably going to have to dot and dab or do some sort of stud timber, keep it off the wall. But it's a shame really, because you sort of lose that original character of the wavy wall, which I quite like, so I don't know. I'll come back to you on that one. So there we go, that's my waffling over. I'm going to tidy up and then I'm off for a shower. So we've had a good clear up here. You can see I got my little helper with me here, so she's going to be helping me put some scrim tape on the walls. She's done a lovely little mural over on the wall there, which I'll show you in a second. Anyway, scrim tape, get on with some bonding plaster soon, and then hopefully we'll be ready for plastering and we can get on with a few more videos. So here we go, there's a picture of my daughter Drew. We've got
me,
you, and we got Daddy. What we got there? Mummy with the baby. And then we've got the tortoise by there. Got a tortoise with a backpack to go to nursery apparently. What have we got there? Dragon? And what's this one?
A racing car.
A racing car. Wow. What have we got here?
A heart.
A heart. Then we got Daddy's boring marking for a fuse spur.